we start the show today with more of a question than an answer, right? Like my job usually is to provide you with answers for things, and I'll give you my own answer upcoming. But the question is play-in tournament. Now we're a couple years in. Does it work? Is the juice worth the squeeze, if you will? I give you my own perception, and then I'll give you the perception of I'll allow Chris and Dan Beyer and of course Jason Stu to give their thoughts. My thought is, okay, you had the play-in tournament. That was designed to create some form of excitement and some form of new energy towards the early part of the regular season, right? Because most people view the NBA's first half of the season as something that takes place in a vacuum that you don't pay any sort of attention to. Meanwhile, what you do pay attention to is opening night, Christmas Day, and then into New Year's, post New Year's, and then really, there's MLK Day games that are sort of kind of an intro to the season, and then All-Star Game, and then once you get the second half of the season, now it kind of gets interesting. So the idea of that is people are talking about cutting back games. They didn't cut back games; they actually added one game in. But they did so. People want to cut games because they were not interesting, didn't mean anything, thought guys didn't play hard. Has that been a win? And the answer 2 years in is no. Because whatever amount of money they're able to generate from it, new sponsorship dollars, new national games and whatever, I'm sure it's cost a ton. And in all honesty, you're also losing some home games for some of these teams, which is a lot of money. I don't think the juice was worth the squeeze. For this one, I think financially it's probably a win, right? Because you have more teams that are close to getting into the playoffs, even for that 10 seed. You have more home games for that, 7 and 8 seed potentially to play 2 more games at home before they get into the playoffs. So that's more money for them, more money in get. So I'd say money-wise, it's probably a pretty good thing. And keeping more teams engaged is probably a good thing. On the other hand, 1 year you lost Steph Curry, and that's not a good thing. And, of course, with them falling into the play-in again, you could lose Steph Curry for the playoffs, which is not good for ratings. Have you hurt the overall field tournament? No. Have you helped it? Modestly. Have you helped there from being, outright tanking at the end of the year? Modestly to not at all. So my estimation over this is it's going to stay. It is a cool structuring of it. There's not really a penalty for losing early other than you had to play, an extra game. So they need to figure out a kind of harsher penalty for either not making the play-in game or losing in the play-in game. But whatever it is, it kind of feels like a push. Have there been some benefits? Yeah. Are there some drawbacks? Yeah. Do I think the benefits slightly outweigh the drawbacks? It does, but it also feels sort of forced. It feels like, hey, we're trying to be baseball, trying to kind of copy both baseball and college basketball, and can't be true to our own core and who we really are. I'm kind of whatever to it. And I know that the games tonight will be played at a higher level, and my guess is the other part is those 7 seeds generally dominate, and you can tell why one team belonged in the tournament and one team does not. Doesn't always work that way. But I am truly a Switzerland level of neutral to this entire thing. Will I watch? Yes. Will we cover it? Sure. Do you find out more about teams when their backs are against the wall and if they lose, they go home? Yeah. I love that. But I also just think, hey, there's something to let's get over it. Let's get to the playoffs right away. Beyer, let me start with you. I'm sorry, Isaac, let me start with you. What are your thoughts on the play? And now we're a couple years into it.
No, let's hear what Byer has to say first.
Pass the blunt.
Okay, so he has a blunt opinion of that.
Yeah.
Okay, I do not have a problem with the play-in tournament at all. I think that it is a Band-Aid on a deeper issue. When you start to need to dress up your sport with gimmicks like the play-in tournament and especially the NBA Cup, the regular season tournament, that's a symptom that something else is wrong. I think the best comparison I can make it is when the Brady Bunch added Cousin Oliver to the show. That was a symptom that something's wrong and you're trying to fix it. That's the equivalent of what's going on with the NBA. If the NBA product as a whole was entirely healthy, they wouldn't need to do something like the play-in tournament or the NBA Cup. But I don't have a problem with the play-in tournament. It's fine.
Well, I don't have a problem with it. Okay? I don't have a problem with it. But what I'm like, there's a difference between not having a problem with it and being super excited for it, and that's where I land. And I agree with you. I don't know what it's symptomatic of. I think some of it is just, hey, let's create more and more excitement and have. They want a little bit of what college sports has, where you have if you lose, you go home. So I do think it's symptomatic of a problem, but I don't know if it's an overall NBA problem or just a baseball having a long series. They have the same problem. Jay Stu, what do you think?
Man, I think a lot. I went back to 2022 because I wanted to make sure that what you said off the top, I wanted to verify that Adam Silver's reasoning for the play-in tournament was what you said. This was his comments in 2022. We can get at it in terms of player participation. It's creating other incentives. The play-in tournament, I thought, a beginning of creating renewed incentives for teams to remain competitive and be fighting for playoff position. It might be through in-season tournaments or changes in format. And that reminds me that NBA Cup may have gotten some buzz first year. Nobody talked about it this time. The all-star adjustments in the format that was a disaster this year, and then this play-in tournament by Silver's admission, are all built in to keep players and teams engaged. And to me, that's an indictment on your league. As Isaac kind of just pointed out, you shouldn't have to create incentives for people making 8 to 9 figures a year, or whatever. I don't think anyone makes 9 figures yet, to play basketball. And then you start thinking about the next level. Well, are they doing it for the fans? Are they doing it to grow their sport? I think the play-in tournament does serve their fans. I think NBA fans love the fact that they could watch a couple games the next couple nights. I don't know if your peripheral sports fans are doing it. Same with the NBA Cup. I think that serves your NBA fans, but I don't think you're really growing your fan base with either of those two things.
I agree with you. I don't think you're growing your fan base, and I don't know if that's the true intent, but I agree it's not making people more excited about it. Okay, Profet, what do you think?
I think in a vacuum, the play-in tournament, much like the NBA Cup, is a fine idea. Again, in a vacuum, but it's constant. Both these things, and especially now the play-in tournament in this year, is dragged down by the fact that it remains chained to the regular season, which sounds obvious, but it does mean you look at the teams who are in the play-in tournament right now. In the East, all 3 teams in the play-in tournament are 500. I'm sorry, the Magic are the only 500 team. The other 3 teams in the Eastern play-in tournament are sub 500. And when you get into sub 500, that's when it starts to really to beg a lot of questions. Like, where we're putting in teams that lose more than they win. In the West, You could easily see 7-8. Those are the Warriors and Grizzlies, sure, great records. But then the Kings, 40-42. The Mavericks, 39-43. And it's not even like teams below 10 are even fighting to get in. There's a 3-game gap between the Mavericks and the Suns. There was I think a 7-win gap between the Raptors and the Heat. It's not like teams are scrambling, like we've opened up more opportunities to get teams to fight near the end of the season. It's still the regular season. It's still this thing that is treated with almost disgust that it has to be slogged through to get here. So it's like, I get what they're going for. You want more of the NBA playoff, which is a great thing, and everyone tunes in for it. But but the context of the regular season is going to weigh it down no matter what, because what we have coming up is 5 of these teams have lost more than they've won. And why would you want to watch a losing Hawks team, a losing Bulls team, a losing Kings team, the remnants of the Dallas Mavericks? It doesn't put anything interesting on the plate.
It does not. It really doesn't. Those teams come limping in, and then they go limping out. It's interesting. And look, and here's the other part to it. We're all different levels of your, maybe not hardcore NBA fan, but we're good sports fans, and these are our feelings. And I think we are the audience that the NBA is most trying to capture, right? In radio, we call it P1 listeners, right? Like the hardcores, they're going to watch them out whatever you put on. Okay? The non-sports fans, you're not going to get them on a Tuesday night. It's the guys that like to watch sports on TV but need to be told something interesting has happened during the week to get us to watch on TV. Those are the people they're not capturing. And again, I don't necessarily know how you do it. I don't think this is the way. But we'll see. I could be wrong. This could continue to grow. But it's like when the team who's in 6th place then falls to 7th place and like, oh, they got to play in the play-in. It's almost like check your shoes. Oh, that's who played the play-in is the one who stepped in it. It's not a great perception of the play-in tournament. That's our thoughts.